What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, thinking we're talking about some comments Kevin Durant made about not liking the politics in the NBA. So let's see what they have to say about that.
You have a problem with KD's comments?
Yes, I do. I have a problem with it because I think it's based on either ignorance or I think it's based on being, selectively oblivious to some things. Let's be very, very clear here. Kevin Durant is a really, really good guy.
Yeah.
And he's a smart guy. Kevin Durant is also somebody that just complains a little bit too much about the very things he benefits off of. Kevin Durant will have you believe that it's all right just to play basketball and do nothing else. But that's not what Kevin Durant's doing. Kevin Durant is a basketball player, a superstar. He's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He's a lot of different things. Kevin Durant is worth over $300 million, and I think I'm being kind there.
So I'm really starting to think about Kevin Durant's comments, and they're making it seem like all Kevin Durant is doing is just sitting around pouting about the politics of the NBA that he doesn't like, and he doesn't like what's going on here or there, and he's just sitting there pouting about it. It seemed like he's just pouting about OKC. When he went back there, nobody liked him, even though he still liked some people, but people treated him bad when he used to play for the team, and he's just pouting about that. All he's doing is just pouting all the time about the things that he doesn't like about the NBA. Now, is that the case? Or was it one of the situations where a reporter just bumped into him like, hey, how do you feel about OKC? Oh, well, when I went there, people weren't too nice to me. I know we used to be teammates. I used to play there, but they were kind of mean to me, and that's it. And the reporter asked him, oh, so how are things going on with the NBA? Well, sometimes I don't really like the politics in the NBA. Some things that I don't like, but, whatever. Is it one of those situations, or is he just sitting around pouting all the time? Because the media jackals are making it seem like Kevin Durant, all he's doing is just complaining about anything and everything, which I kind of find it hard to be the case, but I don't know. That's why I'm just trying to figure this out. So let's continue.
And so he's not lying. And he is a human being. He has a right to hate the NBA someday. The bureaucracy, the politics that come with it. That's all of us. We get all of that. But he, when he starts talking about, if you listen to his comments about being in Golden State and how he was just separate and apart from the other guys eventually because he wasn't one of them. He wasn't drafted by them the way the other guys were. Well, you were drafted by Oklahoma City, but you left. And then when you leave, you talk about I could never, get over that, how they treated you. Well, how are they supposed to treat you? They're fans. And you said, I don't want to be a part of you any longer. Of course that's going to be the case. And so he just sometimes, the reason why I really have a problem with it is because sometimes he just seems to be separated, not from knowing the reality of things, but accepting it and understanding that it's applicable to everybody. Not just you. If I played for a team and I left, their fans are not going to like me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm making all of this money playing the sport, then there are responsibilities that I'd rather not have that are going to come with it. We get it. He seems to want the joy of everything without accepting, the baggage that comes along with it. And I think that when you look at certain guys, certain superstars that have been in this league in the past, that are in this league now, there is an acceptance of the pros and the cons that come with everything more so than it's accepted from him. So it's not really a problem like I'm dogging him in any way. It's just that I just wish he accepted it a little bit better, Max.
So again, is Kevin Durant just sitting around complaining about this all the time? Because that's what they're making it seem like. Or he just made a comment here and there about the politics and how, he wasn't treated so nice when he went back to OKC, and he's done thinking about it. Because they're making it seem that's all he's complaining about, And of course, he's going to make these comments. Maybe he didn't fit in with the Golden State Warriors or whatever the situation is. Does he constantly talk about that? Did he have any good times in Golden State? Because, like I said, I can't imagine that this is all he's complaining about. That's the only thing that he says, because that's what they're making it seem like. I'm sure he's happy you won 2 rings. You may not be all buddy-buddy with those guys, but I'm sure using logic, Kevin Durant knows that obviously these guys won before you got there. All parties knew that before you got there. Everybody knew what was going on. You're new to this team, and you can help us win more rings, even though we won rings before you, and you were up 3-1 against us, and you beat us, but you come join us. Everybody knows what the deal was. So I don't understand why they keep hyping us up like all he's doing is just sitting and playing. But I think he knows that. And he knows when he's with the Nets that he wasn't drafted with them either. So he might not fit in like whoever he played with OKC that he was drafted with. So like, I don't really know who to believe. I think a little bit's the Media Jackals hype. Maybe Kevin Durant. You might complain about it a little bit here and there, but not to the extent that the Media Jackals are doing it. So I don't really know. So let's continue.
I have no problem with the basic position KD is taking, which is this. I thought the most interesting part of the whole article was, if someone asks me a direct question about my past, I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to answer. But that's not my real response to this article. This is not just a puff piece. It's a piece of commercialism. Look, I understand this is also a piece of commercialism. We're selling cars and sneakers and everything you watch during the commercial, right? But when the piece of commercialism is embedded in the very content, the way it is in this article on KD in the Wall Street Journal, guys, I know from this article, as though I was reading a piece in GQ, I know how much those leopard Nike shorts costs and the shirt he was wearing. It's $100. You know why? Because there were 15,000 pictures, and every time he was wearing one of those, and then also maybe his own clothes. I don't know. Does that mean he has his own line of clothes? But every time it's this costs $100 from Nike, this costs $100. I didn't see like the actual. I had a printout of it. Could you click on a link and purchase the stuff there? Because that's what it felt to me.
Yeah.
Like they were selling clothing, and so. I would like to know what is the relationship before this piece came out and what conversations were had between KD's people, Nike, and the Wall Street Journal. That's what this feels like to me. It's a big bunch of nothing except that. This is KD, who is very interested in being a mogul, who wouldn't be, and certainly being perceived that way, the way LeBron is, right? It elevates him and distances him from the rest of the NBA. Doing something, a piece that makes him out to be that kind of figure and also sells, he just signed with Nike through 2024 and sells Nike products. Like that's what was happening in this so-called article. So that's my big thought about it. The other thing that occurred to me though is it's not as though KD doesn't have anything left to prove. He has never been the guy who got to a place and it wasn't already a championship caliber team, led them to a championship. And to me, that was kind of lost in the article. Like the most important story about KD right now is the question, even if his goodest days are behind him, can his greatest be in front of him? Can he lead a team to a championship as unquestionably the best player, biggest star on a team that's not won a championship before he got there?
So I've said this in other videos. It's not in Kevin Durant's personality to be the huge alpha male type guy to take charge and lead a team and everybody follow him. That's just not in his personality. That's just not who he is. He's one of the best supporting cast guys ever. Okay, it's not in Kevin Durant's DNA to be the head team leader. Everybody follow me. I can lead. He's obviously going to lead by example. He's a scoring machine. He's a 7-foot animal. He has a jumper from anywhere, but he's not going to be your vocal leader type guy that you're going to go to and follow, and that'll be him. That's just not in his DNA. That's not in his personality. He doesn't have what Michael Jordan had. He doesn't have what Kobe Bryant had. Because pretty much you have to be born with that. And Kevin Durant wasn't born with that. That's not anything bad. That's not a knock on him. That's just not in his personality to be like that. Now, like I said, he's a great supporting cast guy. He's going to be your best supporting cast guy. But you're going to need somebody else to be that leader, vocal type guy that's going to go out and take charge. Kevin Durant's probably never going to be on a team where he's the head front leader and he's just taking charge everywhere. He wasn't that at OKC. That was Russell Westbrook. He wasn't that at the Golden State Warriors. There was either Steph Curry, Draymond Green, or somebody else. So that's just not in his DNA. But does that mean he's not a baller? No, it doesn't mean that at all. I just means it's not in his personality to be that loud, vocal, leader type guy, and you probably never will be that. But like I said, that doesn't mean he's not a baller. That doesn't mean that you don't want him on his team. That doesn't mean that he's weak or anything like that. So people need to distinguish that. Oh, well, is he ever going to be able to lead a team? No, he probably won't. But can he earn rings? Can he be a good team player? The best team player? Yes, he can. He can. So I hope Kevin Durant's not out there looking for something that he's not. It's like I said, I think he has to know that it's not in his personality to be that type of leader. So I hope that's not what he's chasing to be who he's not, which is the leader type. He's the best supporting cast member, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a scoring machine. So I just hope he's not chasing for something that he's not. So I don't know. Let's continue, and I hope that makes sense. But let's continue.
I've often argued with you about that point because I think that KD's a superstar. I think that he's probably the best player in the world when healthy. He's sensational to me. But I've got news for you. Since you and I have had that discussion, several people have come up to me. A couple of people that used to play in Oklahoma City. Several people that are incredibly familiar with the history of KD. In Oklahoma City. And it's interesting that we talk about him and what he supposedly wasn't. I never viewed it that way. He's the best player on the Oklahoma City Thunder, even though Russell Westbrook is that dude. The bottom line is KD is what got you there, et cetera, et cetera. And I asked somebody, I said, I don't understand. They said, Stephen A., if you're going to get on KD about anything, you've gotten on him about the wrong thing. They said, when he was in Oklahoma City, he wasn't viewed as the leader. I was like, what were you talking about? I mean, I know just because you're the best player don't mean leader. They said he was the best player. They said, but it was hard for Russell Westbrook to follow him because KD, the man that you see right now, was a boy back then. Right. And Russell Westbrook came in a man. Mm-hmm. Came in. Russell Westbrook, write his own checks, handle his own responsibility, do all of these things himself. So to go to Russell.
Okay, so I don't mean to cut him off, but the video is almost over. So I think they were a different age. I think Kevin Durant did 1 year at Texas, so he's maybe 19, 20 when he entered the league. I think what Westbrook did, I want to say 2 or 3 years at UCLA. So Russell Westbrook was a little bit older, and a year or two of having college and being away from home can make a big difference versus being 1 year. With what Kevin Durant had, especially if you're not be the most maturest type person. So at the same age, I'd probably say Westbrook was probably a lot more mature than what Kevin Durant was. If you put them at the same age, so I can see that Kevin Durant was maybe a little bit less mature than Russell Westbrook. And also, like I said, it's not in Kevin Durant's DNA or personality to be that loud, boisterous alpha male. I'll take over, everybody follow me. I think people are confusing that with not being a leader or not being a good player. Like I said, Kevin Durant, he leads in a different way. He'll lead by putting up 38 points a night with 10 boards and a couple assists. That's how he'll lead. Okay, he's not going to be loud, boisterous, alpha male type guy, but he's going to lead in a different way by putting up some crazy stats, and then other people can follow that and get hyped up by whatever teammate, Russell Westbrook or Draymond Green or Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving, getting hyped off of him, hooting and hollering and, getting everybody riled up while playing with Kevin Durant, putting up 35 points. I mean, just getting crazy. So there's different types of leaders. And again, it's not in Kevin Durant's personality to be the alpha male type leader. And it doesn't mean that he's not a baller, because he is. And I'm sorry for talking so much. So let's continue.
Westbrook, and to ask him to follow that guy. Russell Westbrook was a man looking at you like you're asking him to follow a boy. This is what they said. I'm quoting. I'm not telling you who, but I'm quoting folks that said that. And it was